I'll certainly give you a path for recovery. I want to say I'll fix you, but really you fix yourself, as you know. So I'm just going to give you some tools and concepts to think about, and hopefully not just for yourself, but your community that's tuning in, they can all benefit.
Yeah. Amazing. Should we share them now? Because I feel like there's a lot of people with Lyme on this, like listening. Is that okay? Or just give us a couple of ditties? Yeah.
Okay. So, back to our initial premise or our discussion, symptoms, how the body's expressing is a function of inflammation. I believe that all symptoms, no matter what you're expressing, is its function of inflammation. So you could have an acute injury from an athletic challenge, but why you're actually feeling that pain from the injury has to do with inflammation that happens from the injury that's touching a nerve. And so inflammation is a very interesting topic. And so how does toxicity and inflammation work together? And so for you, and actually everybody that's listening today, I think the least expensive way to stay healthy, short and long term in today's world, is using binders. Okay, a binder would be like activated charcoal, bentonite clay, a silica derivative that's called zeolite, which is the nano binder. They actually comes in two classes. And so here it is, you're feeling this symptom and you're cognizant of that. And that's actually the very first step, because most of us out there, they don't really pay attention to the signs that their bodies and the signals and the symptoms that their bodies are giving them. Some of them are subtle. You've had a Lyme experience, so you're a little bit more hypersensitive to when some of those same symptoms come back. But most of us out there, I don't know if it came from high school, and I guess I'm a little retro here, no pain, no gain, you know? So it's like we have this challenge, this symptom that the body is giving us, which is telling us to slow down, telling us watch what we're eating, telling us get more sleep, whatever that sign is. But we power through it because we got to get to work, or we have to get and party with our friends, or we have to, whatever we have to do is more important than the symptom that our body's telling us. And so we ignore that. And you ignore it long enough, then it becomes more than just a symptom. It turns into something maybe more chronic or more serious, right? And so I think the first message to everyone out there is just kind of listen to your body a little bit more. Get more within your body to understand what it's telling you. And when one of the biggest barometers is actually your skin, largest organ. But when you have things like psoriasis or eczema or adult acne, or even histamine responses like little pimples or like itchy skin, that's a symptom. It's a sign. It's telling, to me as a practitioner, it's saying that there's an imbalance in your internal chemistry, your internal terrain. And it's just expressing itself with a flare-up on your skin. So you can touch it with ointments and do things that are like Band-Aids, and certainly they work and allow you to go out and be social and do all that. But what's the root cause? And again, if you let it go on long enough, then it becomes something that might be a little bit more serious. Okay, so back to you. First thing, listen to your body. So you already tuned in. And you said, okay, you gave me the sign, I'm slowing down, or maybe you'll even analyze the last 5 steps in your life that might have brought you to that place, right? And so it's tricky with Lyme because, like you mentioned a little earlier, your immune system is tuned into your emotions as well as your physical side. And so if you have some stress in your body, in your life, you know, like changing jobs or changing homes or whatever it might be, right?
House burning down.
Small detail.
Yeah, it's all
house burning down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that could do it. And the uncertainty that might follow those life situations causes stress on the body that kind of puts a little bit more pressure stress on your immune system, suppresses your immune system. And in the case of Lyme, it allows some of the dormant Lyme challenges or disease that you might have, the parasites or the co-infections, the bacteria, to actually kind of become more prevalent. And because you don't have a strong immune system to keep that in check. And so earlier you said something that was really important. and that is, I have it, I'm cured, I may not be cured, I'm not sure if I'll always have it, and I have an opinion about that. I think it's sort of like, it's like hepatitis or malaria. Like once you have a virus, Epstein-Barr, like we all have these bacteria and viruses inside of us. They live in community in some kind of balance. So what happens is that why your body's expressing itself is because there's an imbalance. So you have your immune system suppressed. Now some of these dormant or less active protagonists, some of these bacteria and viruses, they start to say, whoa, mom and dad are out, we can party. And they just start to, rise up. And then that develops into a symptom. So the symptom that you're expressing, I believe, a headache or, low energy, things like that, I think that is really just a function of toxicity. So you're getting more toxic because these bugs are now pooping more. That's a toxin. They go through a quicker lifestyle because now they're energized, and so they die off, and the normal die off, that's a toxin. And so the rise in their activity actually creates a higher toxic event in your body. And if you're not offsetting that by doing something every day to detox a little bit, then at some point you become that higher level of toxicity spills into higher level of inflammation, cortisol levels, and all that. And then all of a sudden, boom, you got a symptom one way or another. So how do we lower that toxicity? So we lower inflammation or keep it in check. Well, I mentioned binders. I love the sauna because sauna actually stirs up, the infrared sauna stirs up those poisons. So in the early days of device development, I thought that was it. I found the holy grail. I discovered infrared. Wow. We were like the first company to actually bring infrared to mainstream. So we were early adapters in that way, Kelly. But I realized early in the journey that it wasn't just about stirring it up. You actually had to figure out the best way to get it out. And so we've got beautiful systems. Our liver, kidneys, organs, our large intestine, these are all designed to pull poisons out. Our lymphatic system is designed to pull poisons out. But 70% of our poisons that our body get actually comes through our skin, through the air, the water we bathe in, even the foods that we drink. So most of those poisons sit in the cells that are in that layer of fat that's under our skin. So when you get into infrared sauna per se, or even the other formats, you sweat out. It's a revolving door. Your pores and these fat cells create a sort of a revolving door. You sweat out about maybe 70% of the poisons in your sweat. And they've actually done a study where they measured a drop of sweat on an individual in those three environments, the hot rock sauna, the steam room, and infrared. And there's 85% more toxin in the drop of sweat from infrared because of that inflammation. It's shaking.
So this is a great comparison. That's like the perfect stat.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, the other 15, 20, 25%, it goes the other way. It goes into your bloodstream. That's why I like having the binders, because whether you're with infrared, if you're mobilizing internal toxins and they're coming into your bloodstream, or because of the heat and the vibration, they're going into your bloodstream, having like a sponge, it's a biosponge to gobble up these poisons. And then that takes the stress off of your filtering organs to help get the stuff out. So sweating, peeing, pooping, these are the best ways to get poisons out. And so I believe in today's world, not just that you're having this little episode right now, but just in today's world to survive. Like for you to get a charcoal binder or a Z-Light binder, you're talking about $10 a month. I mean, like it's nothing. But to have that in your daily lifestyle. And so religiously, I do my sauna early in the day, usually around 4:30, 5 in the morning when I get up. And I'll drink my fresh, room temperature water that's filtered and structured, take a binder, jump in sauna. My sessions, I found that 45 minutes to 50 minutes at 145 to 50 degrees is my sweet zone. But most people like 30 minutes for at 125 or 130 degrees is more than enough for maintenance. And the binder just is there to catch these poisons as I'm mobilizing them. So
that's great. Oh, that's such a helpful tip. I love that.